All right, greetings. This is Beautiful Mind, and we have a few questions coming in. Let's see, what do we have? One second. All right. So we have this question coming in about algebra, and it's just going to be kind of an overview of algebra. And so usually, hold on. Oh, that would have been nice. Okay. So, algebra, all it is just solving for an unknown. And if you really think about a lot of the techniques, they make sense, But let's take a look at some of them. So let me introduce a paper. All right, so like this first one, we have let's undo. Okay, so if we have x plus 20 equals 100, right? So we're saying some unknown plus 20 equals 100. Now, something like this, what I would do, you're just trying to isolate the variable, right? You're trying to get the variable by itself. The variable in this case is x. So we want to get it by itself. Once we isolate it, then, we'll have our solution. So we use techniques like this one is called the additive property of identity. So where you can add the same thing on the left and right side of an equal sign and you'll preserve equality. For instance, if you had x equals 7 and you add 3 to both sides, then x plus 3 is going to be 7 plus 3 is 10. So if you have 7 apples and you add 3 to x and you add 3 to the right, then you still, it still kind of works out. So here we can add, that's called the additive property of identity, where you can add the same thing on the left and right side of the equal sign and preserve equality. So in this case, we're going to add negative 20 to the left and right. So here we're going to add negative 20, and here we're going to add negative 20. Okay? And I know that's worded a little differently than what they have, but that's essentially what we're doing. Okay? Now on the left, 20 plus negative 20 is 0. So that's going to be x plus 0. Okay? And then 100 plus negative 20, which is really just 100 minus 20, is 80. Now, anything plus 0 is 0 is an additive identity. It's called the additive identity because when you add it to any real number, it gives you back that number itself. So 0 plus anything is itself. So x plus 0 is just going to be x. Notice the equal sign is just coming down with each step. It just comes straight down. Just comes straight down. Okay? So then x equals 80. Okay? Now, if this is our result, the thing that made me fall in love with math, what does it mean for x to be equal to 80, right? What does that mean? That means that if you say 80 plus 20, it should give you 100. So let's do a quick check. Let's check. Does this make sense in the original question? So then if we said 80 plus 20, the question is, does that equal 100? Yeah, because 100 equals 100. Okay. So we have some, let's do another one. We have this one here. Okay. So we got x equals 80. And basically what you see there in the black and the blue and the green, that's what I would put on an exam if I said solve for x plus 20 equals 100. That black, blue, and green is what I would do there. Okay, let's do another one. Okay. So again, it's the same thing, just with different numbers. So if you were able to follow that black, blue, and green, then this next one is the exact same thing, just with different numbers. So if we have x minus 5 equals negative 12, right? So again, we're trying to isolate the variable. We're trying to get the variable by itself. So we're going to do the additive inverse, or the opposite of negative 5. So when you're talking about addition and subtraction, what's the opposite of negative 5? That's going to be positive 5. So we're going to add positive 5 to both sides. of the equal sign, on the left and right of the equal sign, right? So then this is our additive identity, or sorry, additive property of equality. In other words, you can add the same thing to the left and right side of the equal sign and preserve equality. So now, -5 plus 5 is 0. The x just comes straight down. The equal sign just comes straight down. -12 plus 5. Now, if you're on a number line, right? Say you're on a number line. Here's 0. -12 is way over here, right? If you're at -12 and you add 5, that means you move 5 to the right. 5 is positive, so you're going to the right. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. That's 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So that means you're going to be at -7 when you're done. Okay? So -12 plus 5 is -7. They have opposite signs, so you subtract. The larger number is negative, so the result there is going to be negative. Okay? So then you get that x equals -7. Then the question is, okay, if x equals -7, what does this mean in the original? What does this mean in the original context? So we're saying that -7 minus 5 is -12. -7 minus 5 is the same as -7 plus a -5. So -7 plus -5 is indeed -12. Okay? So with that, we'll stop this session.